On this episode of DriveModified, the build of the K20 Fiesta continues. We're back. So after another long break between videos, again, sorry, work, life gets in the way. We're back and it's time to refresh this. So as I said, mentioned in the last video, it's a development vehicle. Bits get stolen off it all the time. But yeah, bits get nicked off it, bits break, have to be replaced, etc. So there was no point previously making it really nice and pretty. But now we're pretty much at the end of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the engine out, paint the engine bay, make it look all pretty. We've got stand-alone ECU to fit, wiring harness, a set of ITBs as well. So K20 on ITBs in the Fiesta, I think it's probably the first, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, without wasting any time, let's just jump into it.
Fucking heat. Fucking technology.
It's probably worth mentioning all of this is getting replaced. Everything's now as disassembled as it needs to be. Generally with Fiestas they come apart really easily because the whole radiator is built into like with a radiator pack. So it's just sort of a couple of bolts up here and on the front the chassis rails. Disconnect any wires or coolant hoses you might have and then lift the whole thing. And then it's just disconnecting things basically. This was made a lot easier by the fact that we didn't have a wiring loom. So it was pretty much drain all the fluids, coolant, oil, disconnect any heater matrix hoses, gear cables, any other earth straps that might be connected. Obviously drive shafts as well, we've left them in the box, just a bit less messy, and we can, because like I said, because the Fiesta comes apart in this sort of way, you can just pull the engine straight out the front rather than having to actually lift it up and out. So we can leave the bonnet in place and other things like that. So we'll get it out. It's still supported in by its mounts, but it's not in there properly. So it's pretty solid actually. So yeah, it should just be able to lift out quite easily, and then we can get stripping the rest of the bay and painting. This is Joyce. Joyce loves it.
Why is she called Joyce?
No idea. No idea why she's called Joyce. Having said that the bonnet doesn't have to come off, it actually does have to come off. Minor note of caution, these mounts are obviously very, very stiff, like polybush. There's no movement in the mat whatsoever, so great for obviously having stiff engine mounts, but a real pain in the ass whenever you try and get the engine in or out, which fortunately you would hope is not that often. The engine is out, we're losing the will to live, but we'll continue on, stripping the rest of the bay to get it painted this evening. That concludes an absolutely massive day of work. So to summarise, got the engine out, completely disconnected, engine bay cleaned and painted basically. So that is laid the groundworks for next week when we're going to clean up the engine. I don't think we're going to paint it or anything like that because I don't think we can really do a fantastic job of actually painting the engine and not scratching it up when we get it in. So I think we'll just sort of clean it up really nicely, make sure there's no leaks, refresh some gaskets, put it back in, and then we can get installing the standalone ECU, the wiring harness, the throttle bodies, a couple of other nice bits as well. So I don't think it probably won't be starting next week, but engine will be back in and it'll be nice and presentable. So I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, tune in next time as well. There you go. Nom nom nom. Oh.